Do you feel like you're paying too much in taxes every year or have a relationship with your current CPA where you only meet them once or just before tax time? Look, I want you to know that there is another solution to paying less in taxes and keeping more of your money. Valard Advisors is a leading fractional CFO and CPA firm that specializes in advanced tax strategies for founders, athletes, and entrepreneurs. Valard Advisors can help you navigate the complexity of business taxes and ensure that you're paying the least amount in tax possible. But this is far more than tax preparation. This is strategy. This is really getting into the data-driven decisions that your business needs to make in order to develop a long-term strategy that aligns for your business and personal goals. Whether you're looking to minimize tax liability, maximize your deductions, or plan for your financial future, Valard Advisors has the expertise and experience to help you get there. Do not wait until tax season. Work with professionals today. Contact Valard Advisors to schedule a consultation. Trust can really be a smart way to save more money when you pass or to protect yourself from some issues. So it can help safeguard your privacy because the assets in your trust may not become public records depending on how it's set up. And of course, also it can protect real estate property from tax reassessment. Welcome to Generation Wealth. I'm Candy Valentino, and I've been building businesses and generating wealth before I could legally order a drink. For more than 2 decades, I've built, scaled, acquired, and exited businesses, all while investing in real estate and building financial freedom. Now I want to help you expand your wealth and give you the proven roadmap to implement today. It doesn't matter if you're a part of Generation X, Generation Y, or Gen Z. It is time to join Generation Wealth. Now let's get started. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Generation Wealth, your podcast for all things building wealth. And today I want to talk about protecting your wealth and protecting your assets, if you will. Because I found a lot of times people think of certain types of mechanisms that are here to protect our wealth, to help preserve wealth. They think about them for only the uber rich or the ultra wealthy. And so I want to break down a little bit about trusts and how they can protect your family, even if you're not yet rich or insanely wealthy, even though, of course, you're on your way there. But trusts are not just for rich kids. It's not the trust fund kid that, although that's what we commonly think of, trusts are tools to use to secure your future, to sustain wealth, to maximize returns, to pass down assets to your family more easily and typically more affordably than trying to go through the courts. And now, of course, a lot of this depends on the state that you live in, but overall, generally speaking, trust is a financial instrument that can be used for estate planning and also for financial security, even if you have minors or maybe special needs adults in your family. So it's something always to consider and to learn about. And so we're just going to do a short mini episode on this today because there are 2 main types of trusts. There are revocable trusts or revocable. People will pronounce them different ways, but they mean the same things. And then there is irrevocable or irrevocable trusts. The words are interchangeable and how you want to pronounce them is up to you. I've heard attorneys say them both ways, but they are very different and unique. Revocable trusts, your assets are protected, but you maintain control. There isn't as much protection in a revocable trust because you maintain control of those assets. When you get into the irrevocable trusts, you lose control. You have greater protection. You have some tax benefits. There's a lot of other things that come with it. But the main thing is in essence, you lose control because you assign that control of the assets within the trust to someone else that is not you or the beneficiary. And depending on the state that you live in, both trusts can avoid probate. It can save a lot of expenses with attorneys and settling your state. And some of them actually have some privacy protections as well as protection from creditors and even eligibility for government-funded programs. But the main thing to understand are the rules inside of a trust, and not R-U-L-E-S, but R-O-L-E-S, the rules of each person within a trust. The first is the grantor. This is the person who owns the assets. If you're the one creating the trust, this would be you. You create the trust and then you design the trust to best suit how your assets are, and you designate beneficiaries. The second person inside of this trust is a trustee. This is a person or an organization who you choose to manage the trust, and that person bears a fiduciary duty to act on the best interests of the trust and its beneficiaries. And then the third person involved is the beneficiary. This is the person, or it could be a charity or an organization, that is legally entitled to receive the assets inside of the trust account. In a revocable trust, the one person can be all of these things, but in an irrevocable trust, you need separation. The trustee cannot be the beneficiary, meaning if you're going to leave all of your assets to one of your children or all of your children, they also cannot be the trustee inside an irrevocable trust. Trust can really be a smart way to save more money when you pass, or to protect yourself from some issues. So obviously, again, depending on the state that you're in, it can circumvent costly, time-consuming probate processes. It can help safeguard your privacy because the assets in your trust may not become public records depending on how it's set up. It can maximize the wealth transfer to your beneficiary by even protecting you against lawsuits. It also controls distribution to the beneficiary. So you can put in limits if you have minors so that that's not all paid out at one time. There's a lot of control that you can place in there. And of course, also, it can protect real estate property from tax reassessment. It also has the ability to reduce estate taxes depending on the total amount of money and assets that are inside of the trust, and can shift the taxable income to the beneficiary when it's left to a minor. There's all sorts of ways that you can make accommodations for special needs without disqualifying them from government assistance. And you can shield assets inside of a trust depending on the situation if you become disabled or are unable to work. It also, for business owners and entrepreneurs, it has the ability to transfer ownership of a business, an LLC, an S or C Corp, more easily than trying to do it through an estate. And lastly, it really can provide tax benefits and estate tax mitigation when you gift assets to a charity. And although I am always for DIYing things and trying to save on expenses, I can tell you that setting up trusts, it is worth the money to work with an experienced, qualified estate attorney, because this varies per state. And it really depends on what you want the role of the trust to do. Not to mention your specific asset situation and your family dynamics. But it's always something worth having a conversation, at least doing a consultation with an estate attorney about it, because it's a way that it could not only secure your family's wealth and have them receive more of your money more easily, but it can also shield your business and pass that down to your heirs as well. So when you are investing in creating wealth for the long term, and when you want to create generational wealth, which is something that you don't just create now, but you can pass down to your family and create money for their kids, the next generation, and so on, you may want to really consider looking into either a revocable or irrevocable trust, finding out what might help your situation, your family dynamic, and the goals that you have, as well as how much net worth and assets that you have now and what you're anticipating building in the future. And even if you don't have kids or heirs that you're looking to pass assets to, you may want to take a look at the legacy trusts and see how you can use a charitable remainder trust now in order to mitigate some taxes and to be able to create a legacy in an organization or organizations in the future and really contribute to not just your community, but the world. Okay, guys, thanks so much for tuning in today to this episode on trusts. We'll see you next time. All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in to another episode. And if you love this episode, I'm asking you for one huge favor. Share it. Tag me on social at Candy Valentino, or if you thought of someone during this episode who might benefit from the content, text it to them, send it to them. Make sure that you are tagging your friends in the comments if you see it on social. I would be so grateful if we could get this out into more hands, more ears, and to more people in the world. Okay, that's it for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time on Generation Wealth.